Executive Platinum, Emerald, Sapphire.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Crew Travel right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Ria. I am your host, and I'm very pleased to welcome back the participant, Lee Harris. How are you?
I'm very good. The participant. Does that mean I am taking part? Is that what it means? No?
No, you'll have to look it up.
I've got no idea. No idea whatsoever. I will look it up after we've wrapped up this, and check out what it means. Hopefully it's nice. No, I probably won't.
No, you won't. I know you won't.
We'll pretend that I will.
Okay. It's very complimentary. Don't worry. You know what? I'm going to go back through all of these and get all the descriptive words that I've ever used over the past 2 years, and I'm going to send you a list one day.
We should just do an episode where you just test me on them and see if I have actually learned any of them.
Yes, you haven't, I'm sure. Yeah, just the easy ones.
Yeah, the ones I already know I'm fine with.
And I have to mention that Crew Travel is brought to you by Blue Marine Travel, who haven't lost a passenger since Lee Harris was born back in the late 1900s, and their people move people.
Yes, we do.
Indeedly so. You're a travel company. Let's hope so. Right. The world of travel, everything is hunky-dory. Well, we're looking at a few issues come over Easter time, but other than that, it's pretty hunky-dory. Let's start with the bad news first. Easter flight issues.
Yeah, so a warning of longer than usual queues at airports over Easter due to staff shortages have been issued. The Airport Operators Association said its members had been trying to bring in employees for new roles following job losses at airports for the Easter period. This is obviously one of the busiest periods of the year. On top of job losses, staff sickness due to the COVID pandemic will also impact staff shortages during this period. The Airport Operators Association chief executive announced that passengers are likely not to have the same service they're accustomed to during the holiday period. They also continued by saying, we would recommend all travellers arrive at their respective airport early due to extremely long check-in times, and that also to double check they have all COVID-related documents to hand and ready to show. Unfortunately, due to the high vetting process for new employees to work at airports, it's highly unlikely sufficient staff will be recruited and in place ready to ease the demand for travel during the Easter period.
Well, and I actually saw a news report just the other day. There was an airport in England. It wasn't the getting there that was the problem. It was the getting out of the airport, because from the time they landed to the time they exited the airport, it took them 4 hours.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I think half the problem, obviously the problem you've got is the staff shortages due to COVID. So they are like, but also with the UK as well, you've got to understand as well, they've now had to change the whole process with regards to EU members coming into the country, where you used to be able to just scan your passport and through you go. You can't do that anymore. So that now creates backlogs as well. So yeah, there is a significant delay, shall we say.
Right. Well, that doesn't bode well for those that are, transiting through a country as well, especially if they're coming from, say, Canada and they're flying to another destination in the EU. They're stopping in Barcelona and they've got a layover, a small layover. You got to account for that too.
Yeah, you do have to. I mean, if it's on one ticket and you've not got passed through immigration, it should be a little bit easier. Yeah, I mean, if for any crew that are definitely on 2 tickets, and they are going to have to recollect their bags and go through immigration, I would definitely suggest just give yourself a little bit of extra time, especially over the Easter period.
For sure. Well, good news out of France.
Yeah, so France has moved the UK from its orange to green list, meaning that unvaccinated travellers now only have to present a negative COVID test result. Previously, they had to show a compelling reason for their visit and isolate for 7 days on arrival. Now they just need to show a PCR result 72 hours before travel or an antigen test within 48 hours. Furthermore, France also announced that vaccinated travellers no longer have to submit a sworn declaration form confirming a lack of COVID symptoms. All they need to do now is enter with proof of vaccination alone.
Nice. And the Caribbean.
Yeah, so 2 more Caribbean destinations have announced an easing of their COVID-19 travel rules, with Grenada to drop all restrictions and Anguilla lifting the need for permission for vaccinated arrivals. The tri-island state of Grenada will remove all COVID restrictions, including entry restrictions for unvaccinated travellers from April the 4th, which is today. Travellers will not need tests, proof of vaccination, or any forms on arrival. Masks also will no longer be mandatory and become an optional choice on the island. Anguilla's new entry protocols came into effect on Friday, April the 1st. All vaccinated travellers who are 18 years and older will no longer need to apply for permission to enter the island via the travel portal. They will still need proof of full vaccination status and a negative COVID-19 test result. Now, for vaccinated adults and minors who have not had a booster dose, are subject to testing on arrival at their own expense, and a valid negative pre-arrival test result must be presented. The testing fee on arrival is $50 US.
Wow. You know what, the Caribbean was probably one of the biggest headaches on the face, especially within yachting, because every single island had a different rule. Some were really, really stringent, others were a little less so. So it is good news. Unfortunately, the Caribbean season is over now. So it doesn't help crew that much, but it's good to hear that things are changing. And hopefully for the upcoming Caribbean season, it will be, back to business as normal.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, there's a few yachts still out there. Like you say, it's now wrapping up, isn't it? And it's going to be the med season very soon. But yeah, I mean, it's good news that they are starting to open up. But maybe it should have been a month or two earlier.
Good news out of Australia.
Yeah, Australia will wrap up its rolling COVID-19 biosecurity emergency determination on April the 17th. Basically, it spells the end of the requirement for a negative pre-departure test result before fully vaccinated travellers can enter Australia. However, international travellers in and out of Australia will still need to provide proof of double vaccination against COVID-19, and the in-flight mask wearing regime will continue for the time being for any flights entering and departing Australia. Travellers, however, will still need to carry and show proof of vaccination status as required. Also, in further good news for Australia, it was announced this past week that Singapore Airlines are introducing 2 new flights this week. Starting today, Monday, the 4th of April, Singapore Airlines will be offering flights to Cairns. And as from tomorrow, the 5th of April, Singapore Airlines will also be offering flights to Darwin.
Right, and Australia was another one of those countries that was hell on earth for a while with the COVID restrictions. Finnair.
Yeah, good news for Indian crew ahead of the med season. Finnair has announced plans to launch flights to Mumbai this summer as part of a series of changes being made to the Finnish flag carrier schedules. This is as they adapt to the closure of Russian airspace. Basically, this is the first time Finnair have operated the Helsinki to Mumbai route since 2009, marking the end of a 13-year absence. The service will now relaunch in July, although an exact date has yet to be confirmed.
And Norwegian Air has some news.
Yeah, Norwegian Air have confirmed that face masks are no longer mandatory on its flights from today, Monday, April the 4th. The move, which applies to all flights across the carrier's network, has been made as a result of revised guidance across Europe. Face masks have been mandatory on Norwegian flights since June 17th, 2020, although the requirement ceased across Scandinavia on February 12th, earlier this year. The airline said that as countries reduce or completely remove travel restrictions, thanks to extensive vaccination programs, passengers will now be able to choose if they wish to wear a face mask or not.
Great. And we've got a crew question.
We do indeed, yeah. We received a question this week from Kate wanting to know the latest on what is needed to enter Fiji as a tourist, not as a seafarer. Well, Kate, as from April the 7th, the process is going to be a lot simpler. Basically, you will need the following to enter Fiji as a tourist. That's proof of vaccination, a negative pre-departure RAT test, which cannot be taken any longer than 24 hours before departure, or if taking a PCR test, this has to be dated no more than 48 hours before departure. You will also need travel insurance and a pre-booked post-arrival rapid test. To book the post-arrival rapid test, you need to head to www.fiji.travel/COVID-19. Other than that, you're good to go.
Right. Well, Lee, once again, things are, I saw actually a news story the other day that there's an airline that is doing a flight that as a result of Russian airspace being inaccessible, it is like going to be one of the longest flights in the world. What is that?
I did see that, and I think it was Cathay Pacific. We're gonna be doing about an 18.5-hour flight to the States. But I think it's, well, I think it's going to be short term. Hopefully it's going to be short term. But yeah, due to Russian airspace being closed, they're going to be taking an 18.5-hour flight from Hong Kong. And I can't remember if it's East Coast or West Coast of the US off the top of my head, but yeah, it's one hell of a flight, that's for sure.
Oh, those flights that are 8 hours long, and I've been on flights that are 12 hours long, and it's like, you want to get up, you want to run, we're not built to sit in one little seat for that long. So I can't imagine 18 and a half hours. Aren't they building like super jets or something, like they had many, many years ago in England? What was that? The Sonic Air or whatever?
Yeah, I think there's talk of, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's supersonic or whatever it is, but you'll be able to travel from the UK to the US in, I don't know, some ridiculous amount of time, an hour and a half or something. It's just crazy.
What was that? What was wrong with those jets that were like super fast back in the 80s?
To be honest, I think they were just too expensive. I think it was more than anything, the fact that it was just super expensive to maintain and to have them flying back and forth. So in the end, it was a wiser move to get rid of them.
That's crazy. So I guess obviously they factored that into these new supersonic airplanes as far as price.
I was going to say, I'm sure the passenger will be taken on board the excess cost, especially with the price of fuel at the moment as well.
Oh, let's not even go there. Another blow, I think, to the world in regards to the recent events in history. But we're not going to talk about that today.
Let's give it a miss.
Yeah, I'm with you. But once again, you know what's coming? If I was queen of the world.
Oh, yeah, that was that. I was then going to say it. You beat me to it. I know I had that confused look, which I do very well, but I was going to say it.
The things I could do, Right, Lee, I have to say thank you once again for bringing us all this great news and warning us about Easter.
No problem at all. Anytime. And yeah, same time next week.
And I got to say that Crew Travel is brought to you weekly by Blue Marine Travel, who haven't lost a passenger since Lee Hare was born. Well, since I was born as well, back in the late 1900s. And their people move people. You've been watching another edition of Crew Travel right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Ria. I have been your host. We'll see you again next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're boarding passengers.